Hello everybody, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. As you can see in front of me here, we have the lovely JAR Design A330. Just getting some ground service going on right now. How's it going, Neil Pratton? Micah 04, 1 year to go to flight school. Awesome, man. That's exciting. Fifth Freedom in the house. Greetings from Vancouver. This is going to be epic. I sure hope so, man. I have no idea how much fuel we need to take over to JFK, but we'll figure it out. Jeremy Harvey, I'm so sorry. I realized that after the last stream I should have done ending music for you too. It just feels incomplete otherwise. I guess the inner part of me just wants to be tealed. Hey, Jeremy Harvey, don't sweat it, man. I'm enjoying all the sounds and music we got anyway. So if you have time for an ending song, it's up to you. If you want to do it, love to have it. I'm loving that intro. Did you use a little bit of the FSX menu music? I feel like some of it also reminds me of the original Flight Sim 10 menu music, but I'm loving it. Jungly Sim, how's it going? Captain Tom, how you doing, buddy? All right, guys. Well, so let's get into this JAR, guys. This JAR Design A330. I have done a couple flights with it. And I just recently I did a scramble. I scrambled and updated to the most recent update. So are my views saved? Let's take a look. No, they are not. I still have some cockpit views, no problem. So let's go ahead and while we're sitting on the ground here, let's get some ground power, and then I'm going to go around and we'll bind our views because the external texturing. I'm going to say a lot of things about this airplane in regards to systems and stuff like that, but one thing I will say off the bat, the external texturing kind of blows me away. It's pretty amazing. So, A330, we actually have 2 batteries, and we also have an APU battery, so we're going to power all 3 of those. We'll go ahead and get the external power hooked up right away. I am running the BSS sound pack. A lot of my sound settings got tweaked again here when I did that quick reinstall. So if there's volume issues with my voice and the plane being louder, just type it in chat and I'll try to get it fixed for you. Let's go ahead and get the nav light on. I'm going to try to do a better job today of staying up to speed with the chat messages so I don't get too far behind. I normally like to read everybody's comments, but I want to be a little bit more interactive with you guys in real time too, so I'm going to try to stay up to speed. So I can't open the door here, but we'll go ahead and walk right through the door, step into my office here. We've got our first class cabin up here. This is where all our donors are. So we've got, IMDimitri and Fifth Freedom Simulations up here. All you guys are up here in the first class. And then we have a business class cabin here. Got myself a fresh Blood and Honey Revolver brew. Alright guys, but this is what I'm talking about. Let's, I want to get what, I got to bind my wing views here because they got deleted when I did the install. But, come on. Take a look at that engine modeling. Alright, so I'm going to bind this view right here. Then we're going to go ahead and, oh, you know what we should do before we continue binding is make sure the aiders are in nav mode. I hate this click and drag. I wonder if there's a way to mouse wheel it. So we're going to click and drag all 3 of the aiders online. We'll snap back here to our wing view and we're going to continue binding. I want one just behind the wing. Captain Solomon says also air stairs through the jetway. Yeah, man. It's how we board extra fast. You know, people up the air stairs and through the jetway. No, I'll fix that here in a minute. But let's, well, right here, right in front of the bulkhead. Oh yeah, that's a good spot right here. Let's go ahead and bind that one. And then we'll cut straight across and we'll bind on the left side. Maybe we'll bind this one just a little bit more forward. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we've got 1, 2, 3, bind that one. So we have this view. This view. And then we need to bind one more. I'm going to bind my favorite view. Pretty good detail in the cabin here. I mean, nothing is operable. You can't open overhead bins and everything, but I'm totally okay with that. I'd rather have performance than model, little things like that. But I do love having this passenger cabin. Look at the detail in this little flight attendant panel here. That's nice. I like that. That's a very accurate representation as well. A couple of TVs up here as we get in first class. Let's see what the first class passengers are looking back at. It's going to look a little weird here with the air stairs there, but trust me, when we get off the air stairs, I'm buying that one. So I've got rear and forward. Perfect. All right, back to the cockpit here. Jeremy Harvey says, everything and all music and sound was completely from scratch, although FSX did inspire the way I composed. Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Like, it reminds me of when you first launch FSX and you get that music. It just brought back some good feel-good memories for me. So one other thing I should mention, guys, is we are in the Nimbus Studios Chicago, and take a look at this airport. This airport, we got a really low, not really low, but we have a low overcast layer today. But this airport is phenomenally done. And what's really cool is my frames are awesome. And ironically enough, when I was in the default airport, I was getting 20 frames in a default 737. So I thought maybe it was an X-Vision preset or something was conflicting, but it turns out it was just, I don't know, maybe an unoptimized area of X-Plane. So I installed this scenery, and now my frame's up into the 60s. So check this out here. We can go ahead and set a gate. What am I looking for? Nimbus O'Hare. We could set a gate time. Destination airport, we'll do KJFK. And the departure time is, oh boy, it's, what do we got? What do we got for time here? I want to do this so we land. It's 14:59 and the sim. And so we're going to, departure time is going to be 15:25. Accept. Look at that. 14 minutes to departure. And awesome. And you can also come in the terminal here, and there's people walking around. Now, normally, and Enzo's over here, normally I am not a big fan of this because I think this takes performance. But I don't know what it is. It's just extremely well optimized. My frames are phenomenal at this Nimbus airport. I mean, you can zip through the terminal here. We got people walking around. I've spent a lot of time at Chicago Airport. Food courts and all the different terminals, but I mean, it's awesome. I mean, they did a lot of work. So enough of that. Let's get back to the airplane. Dougal says click and drag is the only reason I won't buy this bird. Dougal, it's sad. I know. I don't enjoy it very much either. But let's go ahead, and the other thing I don't like is I can't move my FMC. Like, it pops up right there and you can't move it. So not cool. But let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to do load and fuel. All kinds of stuff here. I'm pretty much going to just set what we have. We've got, looks pretty good to me. So, dry operating weight is 124.3. It's just crazy to me looking at these weights and seeing how much heavier this airplane is. Zero fuel weight of 162,000 pounds. That's awesome. Okay, so it looks loaded fine, but that's, you know, your load sheet. As far as ground handling, we need to, actually, I wanted to come here to the ground handling plugin and remove, as we're aligning, we need to remove that jet bridge there. So I'm still getting used to this ground handling app or whatever it is, plugin. We don't need the rear air stairs. We don't need any air stairs. We're at the gate right now, so let's just go ahead and remove them. 1, 2, 3. They're going to go ahead and get off the aircraft. Pull that one out of the jet bridge. Awesome. All right. As far as fuel goes, actual is 15.4. That's in kilograms. I don't believe we can change that, so that should be more than enough gas. So, actually, I want to. Oh, that's a lot of gas, isn't it? Shouldn't we take less? Can we take? Let's take 12. We'll reduce our weight a little bit. All right, 12,000 kilograms. There should be plenty of fuel to get over there. Phantom 320 says, get to that burrito beach, man. Oh, man, I love burrito, the burrito, beach burrito. The burrito beach there in Chicago. I even have a little, not membership card, but you get all kinds of, like, so they stamp it every time you order something from there. All right, we don't need the rear left. We can start closing up these doors. We'll keep the cargo open for now. And let's come back here. Pushback, we don't need that. Sound volume, we have it set for now. There's a settings menu you can mess around with in here. Rain on window bugs out for me, it doesn't work. The FPS message is super annoying if you're at the low end of the spectrum. What happens is once it drops below, I believe it's 20, maybe it's 30 frames per second, you get a little red message that pops up. It was driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out how to shut it off, so it's in the settings box here. You can also adjust shake camera and turbulence. So other than that, let's go ahead and hop into the programming here. The box is a very light simulation of an Airbus. There's a lot of things on it that are, while I'm not typed into 330, I imagine the box is almost identical minus a couple things. It's a very light simulation as far as I could tell. I could even program the box with no power to the airplane and the ADIR's not aligned. So that, you know, it's, as far as systems goes, it's more of a eye candy type airplane, I think. But here we go. All right, we are going to go from not JFK, KORD, Chicago O'Hare, to John F. Kennedy's International Airport. I have some nice ortho over there, but it's pretty overcast, so I don't know if we'll be able to see much. We're going to go as Cactus. What did I say we were? 519? Cactus 519 Heavy. We'll go cost index of 80. Cruise altitude is going to be 370. Departure is going to be, what do we got for weather off the wonderful O'Hare Airport today? Wind 080 at 8. So let's take a look at our charts here. Probably launching off 10s or 9s. 9 are right. We're probably going to make the taxi all the way down to 10 left. We'll go full length. So in Chicago, when they're launching eastbound or westbound for that matter, what they'll do is they'll most likely launch you off of Charlie Charlie or Delta Delta. Actually, I think it's Delta Delta, double Ds. And you do intersection departure. But some aircraft will come all the way down to Zulu, do a full length. So we'll go all the way down full length Zulu to runway 10 left for departure. And we'll do the O'Hare 8, insert that, and then after that, I had our route down, and what did I do with it? Let me pull it up here real quick. Our route is going to be Mobile, Mike Oscar, Bravo Lima Echo, then a dime. I'm going to insert that as we go, and we don't need this right here. Can I pop this up? Yes, I can. Let's take a look at plan mode here. All right. I gotta move it. I gotta have to bind a new camera position for this. So mobile, a dime, Gerbs. Taking the north route. I think we actually cross into Canadian airspace on this one. Gerbs, and let's see if the airways model. I'm not sure what database is on this aircraft. Oops, look at me trying to go all Boeing on this thing. Gerbs, airways, J146 out to Chardon, CXR. Now I should be able to insert that right here, and this is happening on almost all the Airbuses we have. I don't know where they're getting their model from, but you can insert, you should be able to insert this from this page. I shouldn't have to go back and then hit insert. It's kind of a little pet peeve of mine. J146 to Chardon. Lima Victor Zulu, I should know what that is. I can't think of the name of that right now. And then JFK, I'm going to plan on, what is it, 3-1 left on the Lendy 6 arrival. No trans. Insert. Let's take a look at this. Chardon. And here's our arrival. So you can see, I mean, it populates the constraints and everything just like I would expect it to do. Zeal's chant 3-1 left. And of course, we'll check the weather when we get a little bit closer to JFK. One other thing, I wonder if this is working. I had it bugged out. No METAR data. Use update. I'm not sure why this. I used to be able to just click this here and it would pop up the METAR. And I don't know why it doesn't do it. I wonder if it's because maybe I'm not using real time. I wanted to adjust the time so it could land in sunset, but normally you could pull up your METAR, which is super cool from there. But, alright. Captain Cathel says, what is the flight plan today, V1 Sim? I just went over it. I hope you caught it. If you want me to, I can post it in the... oh, I just closed it. Here, let me get it up for you. I'll throw it in the chat for you guys. There's a fix SLT. I just skipped over it. I just went straight to Lima flight, Victor Zulu. There's our route of flight in the chat for you guys. So we've got 4 minutes or 3 minutes to line it. We can go ahead and get rid of the fuel truck. So I'm going to pull up my ground handling here. Control panel, and we can remove the fuel truck. So one thing to note about this aircraft, it comes with a free version of this ground handling plugin. Now, I haven't used any ground handling plugins before, but this one came free with the airplane. Then I ended up purchasing the full ground handling plugin, and I kept getting a bug. It was saying that you need to install it or whatever. It's not the correct version. So what I had to do is I actually came into the plugins, and JAR Design, they actually run an A330 components diagnostic plugin. So it will tell you if anything's missing, and I just disabled that, and it got rid of this big red text here saying that I didn't have ground handling, which I obviously do. So I don't know if that's just a bug on my part or whatnot, but it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's, you know, adds some immersion. You can see the trucks and everything loading into the closed doors. That's just because I don't have them opened up there. But it comes with that, which I thought was pretty cool. So here we go. Back to ARC mode. This click and drag is going to kill me. O'Hare 8 departure. Let's take a look at our departure procedure. Or it's actually the O'Hare 5 in real life now, so this is a little bit older. Top altitude is 5,000 feet. We don't have any ATC today, so let's go ahead and just set our cruise altitude to 370. Fifth Freedom says half of the buttons on the overhead panel and middle console are not modeled. This is definitely not study level bird, but it's the best medium to long haul bus in the sim. And Fifth Freedom, we're going to talk more about my opinions on that too once we get going here. I just like to get us off the gate. But you are absolutely correct. Some of the overhead is, actually quite a bit of the overhead is not modeled. So we're actually done fueling. Let's go ahead and close our fuel pumps. Now, it's ironic to me to see how much of the systems are almost the same in the narrow body Airbus. I did a little bit of studying, a little bit of research on the 330 to see the differences. One of the major differences were the flight control computers, which I don't know where they are now. Emergency fuel flight control. Okay, so they have primary, secondary, and primary 2 and 3, and secondary 2. So the newer, not newer, I guess, but the narrow body Airbus actually have more flight control computers than the 330 does. But ironically, the 330 still has the same fly-by-wire characteristics as the narrow body. So, you know, pitch and bank hold, roll hold, all that stuff, 33 degrees angle of bank, etc. I'm not sure what this one is here, a pre-select off, conditioning, air cargo. It's probably maybe because we don't have the bleed on. So let's do that now. I'm going to hit the APU master, and let's see if we get the low oil ECAM here. Let's give it a minute. I'm not 100% sure it's the same, but I think it should be the same. There it is. There's our flap open message. Let's go ahead and start the APU. Let's take a listen outside. Look at the PBR on the wing. It's pretty nice. Let's see if we can hear it spool up. Maybe not. So I can't really hear it spool up. It's spooling up though. Maybe it's just blocked by the ground handling. APU is at 100% volume. I do have the BSS sound pack for this, so that was one thing that really bothered me about this airplane. It's a high dollar add-on, and when I installed it default, the sounds were very, very subpar. To the point where I just Alt F4'd X-Plane and went and found a sound pack for it. And to me, when you're in that price range, I think it's mid $60 US for this airplane. When you're in that range, in that price range, you need to be shipping with quality sounds. I don't expect them to be a BSS, which I wish they would be, but reality says, you know, we can't expect that right now. They were just so poor. So I went and you had to spend another, like, I don't know, $10, $15 on the BSS pack. So now you're in $75, almost $80 US. Just checking our batteries here. Make sure that they are all charged. Let's see if this can go off now. I'm not sure what this cargo pre-select valve is for here, but we're going to just leave it off for now. So that was the disappointing aspect for me. Wind is 0808, temperature 3012. Let's just flip this over. Whoops, 3012. So that's the weird thing. You can mouse wheel these knobs, but nothing else. So, weird. Alright, back to our McDo here. So let's see. I hate this pop-up thing. It pisses me off. Right? It always goes up to that right-hand corner. Perf data. So we can do auto-populate our perf data. We'll do a flaps 1 and up. So this is one of those aircraft where you actually have to set the THS. You see how it automatically sets? I don't know how realistic that is because with the aircraft off, with the engines off, I don't believe there's any hydraulic fluid or pressure to move the horizontal stab. So I'm not exactly sure how realistic this is right here. But I'm not a 330 driver, but my Airbus knowledge tells me that this wouldn't really be happening right now. But we're going to go ahead and set it up 2.5, and let's take a look at our other systems pages here. See this please wait? I don't know if that's realistic or not. Also kind of bothers me. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's get this aircraft off the gate. So, come over here before start checklist. Takeoff data should be set. Windows and doors will close on beacon on and parking brake as required. So, let's go ahead and set up our better pushback. We're going to push straight back into the alley here.
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Let's go ahead and drive away all for the externals. Jeremy Harvey says all of the displays look super dim and the colors are incorrect. Text on them is unreadable. They are dim, and the text does look a little off to me as well. You are correct, but there's not much I can do about it, other than maybe when we get up above the clouds to be a little bit brighter. Fifth Room said, did Cap Canada share with you how to get your streaming image a bit sharper? Some of the details are lost, as someone said above. I'm not sure why it would be fuzzing out on you guys. It could be a bitrate thing. Is this version 3.2 release 1? Yes, this is the most recent version off of their website. Not website, off of the, I believe it's a forum. Somebody posted it, I believe Slam Cannon posted it in the Discord. So we'll watch all the trucks get out of the way here. I mean, the PBR on this airplane is pretty phenomenal. Almost too good, you know, like, looks like a mirror on top of the wings there, but... Alright. Gotta go ahead and close up those doors. So we have to come back down. Let's see, do I have... I was wondering if I just had the FMS or the McDo box bound. I'm sorry for this camera moving. Apparently not. Okay. So we'll come down here to the FMS with McDo bots, and I'm actually going to bind this right now because we're going to be coming down here a lot. So I'm just going to bind it to this position. And we need to go doors. Let's close them all up. And sound volume, everything is up and on. That looks good. All right. Oh yeah. Flex. Do we need a flex? Flex 45. So that's set. Takeoff shift. I don't believe we need that. All right, we are closing up all doors and windows. Let's go ahead and get our beacon light on. We can, ground power is already automatically disconnected. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. And let's get out of here.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Mattia Marchetta says, geez, I don't remember their 330 to be this bad modeling wise. The 320 is slightly better, but still not even close to even half the value of flight factor. I'm inclined to agree with part of that statement. I don't think it's bad. It's not a bad airplane. The thing is, it's just a very light simulation when you look into, how do I put, like, systems modeling, I guess. I mean, yeah, I can turn the fuel pumps on and off, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, we may be able to start the engines with the fuel pumps off. I don't know. Like, there's a couple things I discovered that just don't make sense. For instance, I can put the whole the whole route in the MCDU without having the power on the airplane or the ADIRs aligned or anything like that. So I also did a pushback mid-alignment on accident, and it didn't mess anything up. So, but there's pluses and minuses to this whole thing. So, Fifth Freedom Simulations coming in, $10 bomb. Thank you again for this stream, a long awaited on my part. I just wanted to see you in a wide body. Well, man, I hope you enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. Thanks for your support. And, you know, this is pretty much the only wide body we have other than the 767, 757 from Flight Factor, which are a different combination in themselves. But guys, look at this 3D modeling. I mean, there's a couple ants on the wings here. That might just be some of my graphics, but this engine nacelle, it's freaking awesome. All right, brakes release, clear to push. The other thing that disappointed me, this whole third MCDU is inoperable. So, inoperable. Parking brake as required. I don't know why it's saying takeoff data is not set, because it is set, I think. Well, we'll find out here. But let's take a look outside as we push back from the gate here. I can hear the APU whining right now, so the APU sounds are working. These are BSS sounds. If you do get this aircraft, you have to get the BSS sound pack. It's not the quality of the Flight Factor sound pack that he did. I think that is by far his best work as BSS Studios, but it's way better than the default. The default sound pack, like I said, I rage quit X-Plane Alt F4 because it was so bad. But look at this 3D model. I don't know if it's just because I love the way the 330 looks, or if they just did a phenomenal job. I think they did a phenomenal job on the 3D modeling. I mean, that is a cool shot right there. That is a cool shot. Slam Cannon says, I sent him the link to the, yes, version 3.2 R1 from the JAR Design forum. Whatever one that was, I installed it. It was for the 3.5. Matter of fact, I could probably look it up for you here real quick if you want to see. Oh, it doesn't say the link, but whatever you linked me, Slam Cannon, it was for X-Plane 11.3, 11.35, or 3.4 and 3.5, which is what I'm running. That's what I got. All right.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Park brake on.
Brake set. I don't like that voice.
Connecting tow. Stand Standby.
or whatever. All right, let's listen to some engine sounds here. I believe the 330 can actually dual motor, but we're going to start them one at a time. So let's go engine one. And let's take a look at this spin up here. Disconnect and hand signals out front, please. I mean, this engine view is straight juice, though. Look at the pylon is modeled phenomenal. I mean, that's the BSS sound pack spooling up there. That sounds pretty good.
And bypassed and has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time, and have a great flight.
All right, thanks for the smooth push. We'll be looking for your signs out front. All right, so we have a good start on one, I believe. Let's see if it even... So we're still got bleed pressure here. We're going to start at the other one from inside. I want to look at this start procedure. So I'm pretty sure engine one is available right now. And I don't have... I still have bleed pressure. I still have the bleed valve open to engine one. That should not be happening if the engine cycle is complete. But let's go ahead and start engine two. We'll watch it. So now I've got dual bleed.
Subscriber ahead.
I don't know if this is accurate because I don't fly the 330. I want to say it's not, but like I said, I don't know. I would be shocked if after engine start your bleed just stayed on, but maybe it does. Maybe that's why the 330 can dual motor. So, and that may even be incorrect. I thought it was the 330 that could dual motor. Look, see, now my bleed pressure just went away. Now we're cycling to the wheel page, and apparently the engine is avail right now, and N1 is stable. But hey, I'm not a 330 pilot, so I can't exactly verify that, but I'm just saying there's a lot of funky behavior going on here that I'm not 100% sure would be accurate. What you do see here is we have N3s instead of N2s because we are running a different engine set that you'd find on the narrow body aircraft. Thanks for the subscribe there, MTF Delta 420. Sorry I was a little bit late on that. Fifth Rim says, I'm watching this on an 80-inch curved TV. Looks unreal. I hope you mean that in a good way. Dougal says, V1 Sim, I've seen the 330 described as the Airbus in high heels, and it does sort of fit. Yes, sir. Okay, so we have a good start on one. That's going to go to normal. We're going to arm the speed brakes.
Spoilers armed.
Spoilers armed. And I'm going to extend flaps 1 from the wing view so we can listen to these flaps extend.
Flaps 1.
Okay, now did you guys hear that sound? I don't know why, but the only developer in X-Plane to model a correct flap sound is FlyJ Sim. If you extend the flaps in a FlyJ Sim aircraft, you hear the motor spin up, and then you hear the motor spin down briefly. And I've yet to find another developer that can do that for me. So the next developer that can model that kind of sound, it's going to be awesome. But not terrible sounds on the flaps there. They looked a little fast to me. Texturing on the trailing edge of the wing, I can live with it, okay? It's not terrible. It's not the best I've seen. I think the leading edge of the wing is by far probably the best leading edge in X-Plane, maybe. Okay, so let's, enough of googly eyes. We got flaps 1. That is into normal. We can go ahead and turn off the APU bleed. We can turn off the APU. And our pre-select light went out, so I've imagined that's some kind of bleed issue that I'm just unfamiliar with. We have a checklist over here. Flight control check is not complete. I will do it on... I guess we'll do it right now. So as I move the flight controls, I don't get an auto pop-up here. And I don't know if that's realistic or not. I have to manually come over here and select flight controls, and then we can do our flight control check. So let's do a full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder full left, rudder full right, and neutral. Alright, so that's pretty much going to take care of that. That cleared that checklist out of the way. And let's go ahead and get out of here, guys. Let's get the taxi light on. Let's get the park brake off. Oops, that's takeoff. Man, mouse wheel, miss ya. Alright, brakes off.
Park brake off.
And we're going to get out of here. We're going to runway 10. Listen to those sounds, though. We're gonna make a right turn out of here. Whew, those sounds though. Alright, so Chicago was really fun. Their taxi clearances are probably some of the most crazy taxi clearances you'll ever hear flying in real life. I believe we're over here off the Kilo gates. So taxi clearance would sound something like Cactus 519, taxi 10 left, the Alpha 18, Alpha Victor, November 2, November, Zulu. And then you wouldn't read it back because he would read off another taxi clearance just as long, if not longer. And they just don't want you to stop in Chicago. So it's kind of a unique thing about flying into Chicago O'Hare. But man, listen to those engines. I do have to use quite a bit of thrust to get her moving. I imagine that's not terribly inaccurate because it is a very large airplane. Omari Joseph says, V1, hi, first time here. Hey Omari, glad to have you here. I think I'm turning on the wrong taxiway, but I'm doing this for cinematic effects. We're just going to taxi on this taxiway so you can look at this beautiful 3D model right here. I mean, that's pretty juicy, boys. All right, let's get back in here. We're on Alpha. We're gonna take Alpha 18, November to November. 10 left. So Alpha 18. We'll make a left-hand turn. Alright, we're gonna come left here. Daniel Smith, alright, I've got everything set up for my flight tomorrow for 376 from Dublin to Prague. Nice! Alright, so we're gonna take... We just turned on Alpha 18. I'm actually gonna take Victor. I'll give myself my own taxi. Is it Victor? I know where we're going. We're just gonna make our way there, essentially. Zeta Eclipse says, hello, I highly recommend this mod for the 330. Search for JAR 330 True V3 Visual mod in the org. It improves the fan blades. Original ones look like plastic. Okay, I will check that out. I actually like the way the fan blades look in the way they are now, but I'll definitely take a look at it. I'm all for improving that. Alright, so this is Bravo. Oh boy. Delta. Man, I'm all messed up here without ATC, but we're essentially going to go out here to Zulu, so let's get out of here, boys. Fixture Jake 11, good afternoon. Pilot Boy says, isn't the engine RPM too high for taxi? Pilot Boy, I'm not sure if that's just me, my throttle levers are actually thrust levers, but my HOTAS throttle. I don't know if it's because I don't have a long enough arm. Sometimes I bump it too high. But to maintain a normal taxi, I'm sitting here right about, 33, 37, 40% N1. The Airbus has a 40%, or the narrow body Airbus that I fly has a 40% N1 limitation on the ground when taxiing. And I seem to be able to move this airplane with 40% N1, no problem. So I don't know if it's terribly inaccurate. If I was a real 330 pilot, I might have a better answer for you. I don't think it's too bad right now. All right, let's see where we are. We're on Bravo, headed westbound. Perfect. We'll take Bravo. I think I'm supposed to go left at one of these here. There's Alpha 14 off my right, so we're gonna go Alpha. We're gonna go November 2. November 2 is up here on the left. It does feel very heavy on the ground. I'm not so sure if that's intended or how accurate that actually is, but it does take a little bit of thrust to move it. One Adam 12 says at V1 Simp, what's up V1? I just finished your IXEG vid. First time on the live stream. Hopefully learned some Airbus. Been flying a lot of Boeings. Hey Adam, glad to have you here, man. Glad you like that IXEG vid. Yeah, I hope you can learn something here. I'm not typed in the 330, but I am typed in the narrow body Airbuses, so I do feel like I have some knowledge to offer. And what I don't know 100%, you know, I'll clearly state it that I'm not 100% sure, but we'll make the turn here November 2, right on November. And yeah, I'm kind of having to maintain almost a constant 37 to 40% N1 to keep this puppy rolling. I don't know if that's because we're heavy or if that's just a JAR thing. Like here I got to bump it up in this turn here. I'm even bumping it up to 40%. So that's my limit in real life right there. I can't go above 40% thrust. And let's just see how she does. I'm going to leave it right there about 40% N1. We'll see how she does here. We'll see if it gets going. All right, we're on November now. Just passing Tango. We're going to take November all the way down to Zulu to 10 left. We'll leave the thrust right about 42%. HD Sim says, V1 in the JAR 330. Wow, I'm in shock. This is not study level for your standard. You're absolutely right, man. This is not a study level aircraft. I would consider it a extremely beautiful exterior and, you know, awesome modeling. It's fun to fly, but you're not going to learn anything that you don't already know if you fly the Tollus or the Flight Factor Airbuses. Thanks for the subscribe, guys. I'm missing them a little bit left and right here. Charlie Rondu and John Caballos, thank you for the subscribe. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. This is my first time in the 330, so if it's your first time on the channel, this could be fun. Aerodynamics is the 330 will taxi quite happily at idle. Okay, Aerodynamics, that's a good comment there. I would assume that, especially because, you know, we got some big old engines on there. I wouldn't imagine it would require 40% N1 to get a rolling. So that probably is something erring on the side of JAR Design. So, heck, I know depending on your weight, even the narrow body Airbuses will get away from you if you don't step on the brakes at idle thrust. So I can't imagine that with the increased thrust power, the increased power on these 330s, that you have to really struggle to get it moving. Dylan Stuff says, do you enjoy flying Airbus? If you enjoy flying Airbus, would you rather a yoke than a side stick? Dylan Stuff, I love flying the Airbus, and I don't think I could go back to a yoke. I always thought I loved the yoke better until I flew an airplane that had a side stick, because you just have so much more room. It's so much more comfortable. I would be hard-pressed to go back to a yoke. But with that said, I do have a honeycomb yoke on the way, and I'll be flying some more Boeings. All right. Oh, Theory Jabrain says, yeah, in real life, the 330 brakes are getting hot often because at idle it moved. Interesting. Jeremy Harvey says, V1 Sims, are there any U.S. airlines who fly the 318? I don't hear about that plane very much, usually the 1921. I don't believe there's any more U.S. carriers that fly the 318 anymore. I mean, I believe U.S. Airways flew them for a while, but off the top of my head, I don't know of any 318 operators in the U.S., no. Thank you for the subscribe, Ian MacArthur. Aviation Joe, is this a good aircraft compared to the Tollus or Flight Factor? It depends what you're after, Aviation Joe. If you want to learn Airbus, then I would say you got to go with the Tollus or Flight Factor. There's nothing on this airplane that I have found out yet that is a surprise to me from my Airbus knowledge flying narrow bodies. I mean, yes, there's a couple of different systems. The overhead's a little bit different. We've got an extra battery bus and all that stuff. But an Airbus has done a really good job as a company in streamlining all their aircraft, making it extremely easy transition for any pilot who flies one type of Airbus, starting with the 319 and all the way up through the 350. So they've done a really good job at streamlining their systems. And this 330, the JAR 330, I feel like even though it has more systems than a narrow body in real life, it's not as in depth as the 319 or 320 that we have an X-Plane from Tolos or Flight Factory. James got the subscribe. Thank you for that, sir. Theory says a Tolos 330 would be awesome. I agree. All right, I got a marker going off. This is one thing I wish if Austin Meyer ever watched one of my videos, I would just ask him to make the marker audio not be on by default. It drives me nuts. But I don't know if you guys seen that recent Austin Meyer video of X-Plane. He talks about the aerodynamics in 11.4 Beta 3. Oh my goodness. If you don't think X-Plane is the future of flight simulation, you got to watch that video and tell me otherwise. All right, we finally made it down here to 1-0 left. Look at this beauty. My goodness. All right, we're going to go ahead and line her up on the runway here. We'll get the strobes on. We'll get wing lights on. Landing lights on. Everything else looks good. And we'll make sure we're not missing anything. ATC is set, ECAM memo. Takeoff and no blue. We should do our takeoff stuff. Auto brakes max. I don't even have to do a takeoff config. You see that? So like if I turn the auto brakes off, which I can't. Oh, there we go. I should have to still do a takeoff config check. I don't have to do a takeoff config check to get all green there. So that's just another thing that bothers me. All right, here we go. We're going to make a big airplane turn. Big boy turn. Now what throws me off too is the seat. All right, so I'm definitely off center line. I messed that up. So I'm going to stop here for a second. The default seat position, look where the camera is. My butt is half on the pedestal and half on the chair here. Now, while it may not bother you guys, it kind of bothers me because this is my normal view right here. This is where I would be sitting in the real airplane, and this is what I should see out front. But the default view for them is right here, which is kind of weird. But all right, let's make sure cabin crew advised TCAS TARA, so we should do that. We should do that. Put that in above mode, which is right about there. Cabin crew advised. I think there's a way to notify them? Maybe? Commander's packs as required. Alright, we're ready to go, guys. So we're going to brakes released. And notice that there's... Oops, I'm sorry, let me get my track IR set. Nose forward on the stick, we'll spool it up 50%. And here we go. Manflex SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue.
Power set.
Power set. 1.4 on the EPers. Excuse me. 80 knots. Thrust set. Neutral by 100. A V1. Rotate. Nice and smooth. Positive rate. Gear up.
Gear up. Spoilers disarm.
All the way to the command bars. Whew. Let's take a look outside. Flyby view. Let's go ahead and get the pitch back down. Reversal and speed, reversal trend, there we go. Thrust climb, open climb, runway track. Let's get our box set up here. Let's go flight plan direct. Let's go direct, mobile, insert that. We are into the clouds. Autopilot 1.
Cross check.
So I'm still in runway track, and I shouldn't be. So I have to push this in to go to nav mode. So I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I changed something in the box. And I don't know if that's I think that's a JAR thing. There it goes. Flaps 0. We are well above 10s on the OAT, so we don't need any anti-ice. Nothing to see in the clouds here, unfortunately. Let's do another flyby. Let's see what she looks like outside. Whoa! Didn't mean to kill your ears there, guys. Let's go ahead and turn this audio down a little bit. How about now? I mean, that's extremely loud. I'm sorry. Watch your ears. Alright, here we go. We're climbing out. We'll do some outside views after. I hope that didn't blow your ears, guys. The chronometer. Everyone wants the chronometer. Alright. Chronometer. I fly airplanes that actually have auto chronos. Actually, that's not true. Not our buses. Typically, that's going to be set by the pilot not flying. Gear up, start the chronometer, disengage the spoilers, so... Alright, we're 5.6, climbing 370. Let's see. I skipped a lot of comments there. I apologize that, but I want to stay on top of it with you guys. Razgris says you can adjust your view by using the numpad. Yep. Wait, you can use your numpad by setting left control and I'm here and click that. Oh, yeah, I know how to set views. Like, I just saved this view here, but what I'm talking about is when I go to Track IR. So, I love using Track IR, and unfortunately, the Track IR view is centered here. I can't change that. So, like, I could save a view right here. Like, I'll just save this view, and then as soon as I enable Track IR, my head slides back to their default position. Now, if you guys know how to fix that, please, I would love to know, because I don't know of a way of fixing that other than making a Track IR profile, which I just haven't been bothered to do yet. Dale Smith says the Boeing 737 sets turbo thrust for you. Yeah, I'm making this a competition now. Yes, it does, and it also sets a couple of things I think on takeoff that the Airbus doesn't do for you. All right, we're 9.2, getting ready to go above 10,000 feet here. Let's go ahead and kill our external lights. We can get rid of the wing light. I'm going to turn these sounds down so we can look outside again. Let me know if this is still blasting your ears. Here comes a flyby view. Headphone users beware. We're at above 10. We're accelerating at I want to forget what our climb speed is. Close to 300. All right, they're okay. This is no IXEG flyby, but I like the as the aircraft passes you. I like the fade out. It's not bad. There we go. I like this view right here. Fifth Freedom says the one thing one of the things done right is the chrono, which I forgot to set. Yeah. Pilot Boy flyby sounds are meh. I agree. They're meh. Better than some other aircraft, though, so you got to give it that much. All right, we're 11, climbing 370. All right, so let's talk a little bit about flight modeling. And I did some flying, with no autopilot. Outer tank fuel transferred already. Do we have enough fuel to get there? So, I'm not sure what's happening here. Let's go direct to dime. We are. I'm not getting any UTC update. I'm not getting any speed altitude updates. So, that's interesting. Fuel prediction. Oh my gosh. You know what we forgot to do, guys? We totally forgot to set the, we did a big oopsie. Good thing this isn't a study level aircraft or we would never have been able to take off. So we need to go There's a ground handling. Nope. Load and fuel. Our zero fuel weight was 162.4. Let's see if we can do it en route, which you can't access this page in the real aircraft en route. But let's see. I bet we can do it in the JAR. 162.4. Boom. Our block fuel on board right now is 9.6. I have a strange feeling we're not going to have enough gas. Oh, maybe 21 minutes. Holy crap. That's not a lot. Okay, so now we're showing the data I need to be seeing. Okay, so that was an oopsie on my part. I didn't set the zero fuel weight over here. I didn't set this. That's a big oopsie. But like I said, a real aircraft would never let you wouldn't get past taxiing away from the gate. You'd have a bunch of X's and you'd have issues. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing that I forgot that. Davy K says, hey, V1, in real life, do you have an end goal dream aircraft? For example, if I'm assigned to the 787, my life will be set. Davy, you know, not aircraft specific. You know, I want to be, that's a loaded question. Not aircraft specific, but I would like to remain, I want to be somewhere where I'm senior enough to get the days off that I want, and I want to be in the left seat of a good aircraft, and that's where I'm at right now, so I'm pretty happy. Let's go ahead and set standard. Standard barrel cross check, all three. So I'm happy where I'm at right now. Things may change. Who knows? Makona says the JAR 320, 330 are nice and fun until you get hands on the flight factor. I'm inclined to agree with that. Dougal says views can be changed in PlaneMaker, but reset on every update. Okay. Somebody wants me to look at the overhead panel in Track IR. Okay, so I'll move my head over here. I'll zoom out, and you can see it's a pretty large overhead. But this is my, if I was flying, if I wasn't streaming, I try not to use Track IR too much when I stream, because I think it's kind of nauseating for the viewers. So I try to keep my Track IR paused, but myself, when I fly alone, I love to, you know, I use Track IR. There is no going back once you use Track IR. It's pretty incredible. Daniel Smith, I've got headphones on fuel and sounds required for me. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Okay, well that makes me feel better. Let me turn them up a little bit. And if it starts getting too loud, let me know. It looked very nice, sound very nice with PSS, but this bird is nothing like flying an Airbus at V1 sim. Mevive, yes. So let's talk about that now. Let's talk about flying it, actual hand flying. Let me find a good view for you guys. How about that? That's a good view. So, hand flying this airplane. In order for you guys to understand my thoughts on the hand flying of this aircraft, let's talk about the narrow body aircraft, right? The Airbus in real life, whether it be the 19 and especially the 20, the 21 not so much. Deluxy, thanks for the subscribe, man. The 321 not so much for some reason. I feel like the 321 is just, it's for some reason it's not included in this conversation, even though it's the same wing as the 320, 319. But if I were to describe the 320 and 319 flight characteristics during landing, especially, and a little bit of takeoff. This is not talking about the fly-by-wire. Man, we got a lot of subscribers coming in. Appreciate you guys enjoying the content. Thanks for tuning in here. But if I were to describe the takeoff and landing phase of a narrow-body Airbus, the one word I would come up with would be blocky. And the reason I say blocky is because it almost feels like, and this is especially the Airbuses that don't have sharklets, they just have the standard wingtip fence. If I had to describe it, I would say blocky, because it almost feels like the Airbus, especially on landing, you come down, you flare, you get into ground effect for a little bit, but the Airbus does not float. It is not a floaty airplane. And I don't know if that's just inherent of the wing design or what, but it likes to get into ground effect, settle, and it'll come down on you. Now, other airplanes that I've flown, like I've flown the Embraers, 190s, 170s, 175s, extended winglets, no winglets. I've flown a slew of turboprops, and I wouldn't include turboprops, but even jets. I've flown several different Citation jets. Every aircraft, when you land it, you can feel that ground effect, and then you can feel when it no longer wants to be in ground effect. It just kind of drops when it no longer wants to be in ground effect. And the problem I have with this 330 is I feel like it flies almost like, or it lands anyway, almost like a very light aircraft. And I don't have the experience in the real airplane to really say, hey, this lands wrong or the flight model is wrong during the landing phase of flight. But from what I have experienced in the aircraft that I've flown in real life, I don't feel like the behavior is correct, especially in those beginning phases of flight, like getting into when it's ready to take off, like lift itself, when lift really starts to develop, and when lift no longer develops and you're landing and you're touching down. I feel like you can just very slowly just float this plane down and drag it onto the runway. Now, I don't know if that's realistic behavior. It might be. This has a very long wing. It's got a pretty large wing surface area to it, so I don't know if that is accurate of me to assume that, but to me personally, I just think it feels wrong in those critical phases of flight, takeoff and landing. It doesn't feel blocky. It feels like a glider almost. It's almost too good to be true, to the point where I don't believe it. Now, it very well may be that way. I don't know. But it's my opinion that it's too much like a glider. So we'll see. And we'll do some hand flying when we get towards JFK. All right. Let's see where we are here. We're at 28.7 climbing to 370. The other thing I don't like is I can't pop these. I can pop that screen out, but I can't pop out the PFD or the ECAMs for some reason. Let's go ahead and zoom this out here. We are 29.1 climbing to 370. It looks pretty smooth, so let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. How are we looking for fuel? Landing 3.3. All right. So that was kind of my flight model comments on the landing phase, landing and takeoff phase. So now in normal flight, I took the autopilot off and I ran it through a series of tests, just like I did with the flight factor. I don't know if you guys saw my flight factor for Tolus video. I know it's a little bit outdated right now, but I think it's still very good in the aspect of explaining the flight control laws in the Airbus. And that's when, you roll into angle of bank, and you can go up to 33 degrees angle of bank before it returns back to 33. Or if you go past 33 degrees angle of bank, it'll return you back to 33. The pitch and all that stuff. So I go in depth on that video. Now, I don't know 100% again if the 330 is the same way, but I do know it obeys the same laws as the other narrow-body Airbuses. And in any normal configuration, it did okay. Like, I could roll into bank, I could let go, and it holds it just fine. Roll into set a pitch command, it holds it just fine, no problems. Where it really struggles is anything other than a 100% normal configuration. Anytime you try to do anything abnormal, it is, in my opinion, very incorrect. And I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if they, it's a light simulation aircraft, right? So maybe they don't. Light simulation means the advanced flight modeling characteristics aren't modeled, and they don't declare that they are. So you got to be okay with that if you purchase this aircraft. But as far as just a normal flight, as long as you do everything normal, you should be fine. And it reacts like an Airbus I would expect to act for the most part, other than takeoff and landing. I think takeoff and landing is just way too, it almost seems like it's just way too much lift, or the speeds are off. I don't know. I mean, if you take off a narrow-body Airbus and your rotate speed is 137 and you rotate at 160, you're pretty much probably going to have to be holding nose forward on the stick to keep it on the runway because it wants to lift off. So it almost feels like this 330 is outperforming for the speed that it's at. So when I'm going down the runway and I'm at 147 knots or whatever it was that we rotated at, it feels like I'm already flying at 180 knots. So it doesn't feel like it, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. So enough about that. Let's look at some other stuff inside here. Let me get up to some of these chats here. Anonymous person says the JAR A320 is a waste. Is the 330 worth it? Well, I'm not going to answer that question for you guys because I want you to answer for yourself. I'm going to try to explain as much as I can and show you as much as I can in this live stream. If you want to see something, I'm going to pay much more attention to the chat now and request something. If you want to see something done, let's do it. I want you guys to be able to make your own decisions because who am I to tell you if you should buy it or not? The problem that I had is we don't really have a good we don't have any. There is no other long-haul Airbus on the market that is worth it. So you're pretty much stuck with what we have, and this is, from what we have, this is probably the best if you really need that wide-body Airbus, because I don't think there is anything else. I think there's another 330 that's out there from a different developer, but I have no experience with that. So I don't know. We have the 7.6 and the 7.57 from Flight Factor, which you guys have heard me talk about that in the past. It is what it is. But I mean, you can see this is a pretty airplane. Like, if you just want to mess around, it's got a pretty interior. It's got an outstanding exterior. We go all the way to the back here. You see it's a 2x4x2. Anonymous person says the Flight Factor 7.6 is the best wide-body olive X-plane. I have to check that out, Anonymous, because I haven't updated the Flight Factor 7.6 in a long time. When I first got it, I was extremely disappointed in it. But I have heard that there has been some significant updates, so I'm hoping that is the case, and I will definitely be getting into the 7.6 again to check it out. So we come all the way to the back here. I mean, the doors are pretty lackluster modeled, but that's okay. I have no problem with developers taking or doing less detail in the cabin, because in my opinion, I prefer performance over an interior cabin, and this is plenty good for me in my standards. But if you're one of those guys that if you want to get on a long haul and just cruise around the back, other than the seats here, what's going on up front here? We're Mach-out cruise, leveling 370. All right. Fifth Freedom says, V1 Sim, I just flew an approach with the final approach fix at 1350. Do you set 1300 or 1400 for VOR NDB? So Fifth Freedom, you asked this, I believe, last time. The final approach fix at 1350. Do you set altitude 1300 or 1400? Oh, the final approach is at 1350? You would probably set 1400 to be safe, because you don't want to be below 1350. If you're below 1350, that's a no-no. So always go higher than published. So, and there you go, Phantom 320 answered that for you. Yes, always go higher than published for a final approach fix like that. Now it says, I think the 3 actually has a reputation as a glider. The incident over the Atlantic managed to fly calling for additional. That's absolutely correct now. That was when they loaded up with pounds, or, yeah, pounds instead of kilograms, or something like that. I know there was a confusion in the loading of the fuel, right? And they ran out of gas. I thought that was a 340, though. But that was pretty incredible when they flew all the way down. With no engines. That was incredible. That's a testament to the flight crew, number 1, and of course Airbus, number 2. I mean, the Rat came out, they had minimal power to get the flight controls working, and they had one shot, and they did it right. So here you can see here, guys, this is the current version of the JAR design I'm using. This is version 3.2 R2. Let's take a look at some of these systems pages here. So okay. What's happening? Okay, so I pressed the all push button once and it decided to cycle through all of them. Okay, I don't know if that's... Okay, let's stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that! Interesting. So, I'm pretty sure this isn't very accurate. Alright, well, there's your systems pages. I'm not clicking anything. I don't know if it's stuck on something. I'm trying to... Let's do status. Nope, do I have to hit all again? Okay. We're back down. Alright, let's look at these systems pages now. This please wait memo in between ECAMs, it's not on the narrow body Airbuses. I don't know if it's on the 330 or not. So I don't know if that's accurate or not. But here we go. Looking at the engine page, oil quantities, 18.2, vibes, everything looks good here. Nothing too upset there. I want to go to the bleed page. Let's check this out. So, believe it or not, they actually have the high pressure valves modeled correctly. They're closed. On the flight factor, the high pressure valves are modeled incorrectly. They stay open during the whole flight, which is actually a write-up. So this looks okay here. Pressurization page is looking good to me. A little fluctuation in vertical speed in the cabin, but the cabin is pressurized 7,400 feet. We're in the closed configuration here. That is correct. Looks like a safety relief valve. That looks good. I have no problems with that systems page. Here is the elevator, or let's see, LAC. Elevator, aileron control? No. Oh, electric aircraft. Oh, electric AC. Okay, so this is different than the narrow body. We just have an electric page. This is electrical AC, electrical DC. So that's cool. So you can see your AC and DC power. That's probably one of the largest differences between the 330 and the narrow body version of the Airbus. The electrical system on the 330 is much different than the narrow body. So I can't really verify the accuracy of that page and see this one. This looks good though. I mean, you got the green line where you got DC bat, APU. The APU has got 28 volts on it. Okay, should be off. APU is off. Maybe that's just APU battery. Maybe that's what that is. It might be APU battery, 28, so our battery is charged. That's probably what that is, 28 volts. The hydraulics page, I can't bring it up. There we go. Here's our hydraulics. Much different display than I'm accustomed to, but for the most part, this looks pretty accurate. We've got all our hydraulic fluids here. Everything is in the green, so looking good. So according to this chart, it almost looks like, so there's green, there's three systems, there's green, yellow, and blue, but the green comes over here to power the rat. Interesting. I don't see a PTU, so there must not be a PTU on this as well. Maybe they just uses the green. This is where my knowledge of the Airbus kind of goes to the wayside, because this is unfamiliar to me. I can't speak to the accuracy on this or not. But it's very interesting to me to see how this hydraulic is laid out compared to the narrow body. Alright, here's our CB. I'm unfamiliar with that is referred to in the 330. APU page, we looked at this. APU gen is offline, that's normal. We've got our fuel used there, 60 kilograms, that's pretty cool. The condition page, wow, that's quite a bit different than the narrow body, huh? Look at all the different zones. We've got 2 in the forward, 2 in the mid, 2 in the aft, 1 in the front. Hot air, trim valves, everything looks as intended. Let's see if we can change the temperature in the cabin. So we're sitting at 22 in the forward cabin. Let's see if we can warm it up. Let's see if we can warm up the forward cabin. Yeah, there we go, 24. You can see there's more hot air being released into forward cabin. Let's see if we can change our forward from 22. Let's just let's go for speed. Let's go maximum hot here. Maximum hot. So you can see, here we go, we're changing the cabin. So nice simulation of the cabin air temperature. We'll go ahead and leave those normal. Let's go over to the doors page. Thanks for the subscribers there. Avix, thanks for the tip there, buddy. $5 US. He says the A350 is a flight factor project. working with someone else, though I heard that Tolis is working with Flight Factor to do a V2. So, interesting. Also, the JAR 330 was more bad before the last update. They had some weird rudder issue. Yes, the rudder issue is gone. Let me get to that. I'll get to that real quick here, AVEX, when I get to the flight control page. But thank you for your support, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Look at the wheel page here. Pretty standard. Looks good to me. Flight controls. So this is what AVEX was talking about. In the last version, if there was any wind at all, you had a crazy flutter in the ailerons, and the rudder was just full deflection left, right. I thought my controls were going bad, but it wasn't. It was a bug with the JAR. But that is since fixed and makes it flyable with wind conditions. So if you were having that issue, I can tell you it is solved with this version right here. It's working beautifully. Fuel page. Look at our fuel tanks there. Man, these numbers make my heart beat fast because I'm not used to seeing kilograms. So 35, everything looks normal there. Because if we had 7,000 pounds, we wouldn't have enough gas to get there. But those are kilograms. Oh, I hit the all page again. So I guess when you press the all push button, it cycles through all of them until you press it again to stop it. So I don't know if that's accurate behavior. It's not accurate if it's the same as the narrow body, but I don't know if it is or not. Alright guys, so enough of me rambling on, kind of looking at systems. Let me get to some of this chat messages here, and let me know what you want to see. I'll go ahead and just kind of park us on the overhead here for a minute. Let me catch up to some of these chat messages here. So Killer asks, V1 are using the VSS? Yes, I am using the VSS. That is correct. Brian Knight says, new to the channel, tuning in from Athens, Greece. Hope everyone is having an awesome day. V1 Sim, I'm really enjoying your content. Thanks for sharing. I'm curious to your aviation background. Brian Knight, well, I am a current Airbus captain in narrow body, 319, 320, 321. And I actually haven't flown in about 8 weeks now. I've been on leave. I just had a child. So I say current, but I use that term lightly because I haven't flown in 8 weeks. But I go back to work next week. And I flew regional jets, I flew citation jets, I flew freight, I flew cargo, turboprops, all that good stuff. So, all civilian though, and I'm just an av geek, just like most of the guys in the flight sim community. I love flight simming with you guys, and sharing my knowledge and just experimenting with X-Plane and really sharing the passion for flight with everybody. So, that's kind of a little bit about me. Fifth Rim says V1 Sim once Flight Factor comes out with the next version of the 350 Sid Star. BSS, my wallet will be flying out of my pocket. I agree. So I actually don't have any experience with the 350 because I knew that it doesn't have any. I'm gonna go to my sound 3D here. I'm just gonna turn down the master internal just a little bit. Turn this down just a little bit. I didn't have any experience with the 350 because I heard that the Sid Star was missing, and I couldn't bring myself to get an aircraft that didn't have Sid Star functionality. But I have heard that they're working on it, and I think the 350 is a slick looking airplane. So I would love to have a good 350 here. Winging It says, on a more pleasant note, the 320 tech question: what did Skiles and Soli gain systems-wise by turning on the APU, which I understand was not in the QRH? Alright, so just check some of the comments. Nobody answered that for you. So, what Soli did is he actually, during the ditching, I want to say there is a ditching push button. Oh, I'm sorry, not ditching. Scratch that. Beep, beep, we'll get to that later. APU master switch. So, when they lost both engines, the aircraft needs hydraulic fluid to manipulate the flight controls. And the APU on that checklist was at the very bottom. I believe it, well, not maybe not the very bottom, but it was a good amount of items from the top. So a dual engine failure at that time required them to, reset master switches, verify, confirm, motor the engine, and basically trying to get power back to the engines. But what it didn't mention was start the APU. And the reason the APU is important is because if you lose your APU, you're not going to have any power to the. If you have a complete dual engine failure and your APU is off, you're not going to have any flight controls. You don't have anything to move the flight control surfaces with. So he started the APU that allowed him to keep his screens on. It also allowed the aircraft to remain in normal law, which allowed him to have protections with fly-by-wire and such. So by starting the APU, he really did think ahead and keep the aircraft in a much safer position than if he were not to start the APU. Now, I still haven't had a strong answer on this. Maybe some of you guys know, but one thing that was never mentioned was the RAT, or the ram air turbine. If you lose both engines completely, all electrical power at the drop of a hat, the RAT, or ram air turbine, will deploy, and basically what it is, that's really loud. Basically what the RAT will do, it'll deploy from the bottom of the airframe, and it sticks out a little, it almost looks like a little propeller, like you'd find off a 172 or something, and that spins freely in the slipstream of the aircraft moving through the air, and that gives you enough power to power some of the flight controls and minimal electrical power. So I don't know if during their engine failure, if they had a complete loss of all their power, if the RAT deployed or not. That's one thing I never got to find out. But essentially, he didn't need it anyway because he had the APU online and was able to manipulate the flight controls and keep the aircraft in normal protections. So, let's see. One thing I think they forgot to do was the ditching push button, which I believe that was at the very end of the checklist. And what the ditching push button does, it will close up all your external valves, like your, what is this valve called here? Your cabin pressurization, outflow valve. It'll close your outflow valve, your packs and everything. It'll close all the external holes on the airplane, so in theory it should float much longer. But Sully did it right. They did a phenomenal job getting that airplane down. Jeremy Harvey says, V1, have you ever heard of a YouTuber by the name of Captain Joe? He used to be a 320 pilot. He now flies a 747. His videos are great. I don't know Jeremy Harvey. I may have seen him on YouTube every now and then, but I'm not ringing a bell. I think I might know who you're talking about, though. All right. So, Martyr 1986, can you tell me or post your real view settings? Regards from Germany. Martyr, if I guess I can load up real view here real quick so you guys to take a quick look at it. So this is my real view for this airplane. So each aircraft is different, but this is kind of what I have for real view right there. I'll just give you a quick look at that. That's kind of what I'm running right now. All right. Hang on. That's when you know you married the right woman. My wife just brought me a beer. Thank you. All right. That's my real view settings for you. All right. The JAR 3, Soul Killer says the JAR 330 needs to get rid of some annoying FMC bugs and really be a great plane. So I've had, I've had a couple bugs with the FMC. Let's see if I can turn on waypoint. Oh god, that's a lot of waypoints. We don't want that. Let's see. So we're still a good ways from top of descent, 415 miles. Let's come down here so we can look at this closer. How's our fuel looking? 0.6. That looks good. Just make sure we have enough gas. I keep getting freaked out. So there are a couple bugs with this FMC or McDo. I don't know what I did, but one time I pressed something, and it completely wiped out my entire flight plan. Now, this point not in plan. Oops, AJFK. What? Okay, you're telling me I can't put JFK in here? Okay, what about just JFK? Maybe it doesn't want the airport? Point not in plan. Alright, so there's one of your FMC bugs. The box here is a little bit funky. This is actually my first flight with this new revision, so I'm going to work through it and see if some of it has been fixed. Okay, so I can hard tune radials and stuff. That's good. Let's take a look. I doubt there's a fix info page. Yeah. Speed constraints, altitude constraints. New waypoint, new destination, holds. I'm always nervous to press holds. I'm not going to press hold because holds sometimes crash your X-plane. But it seems to be, I mean, at least I can tune the VOR. Progress page is not very good. I can't put in, I should be able to put in any fix I want here that's in the database. Let's take a look at the performance page. We're in cruise right now, 3.6, 238 miles to top of descent. Our UTC 2250. Our cruise speed is 320 at 0.81 Mach. That looks awesome. We're hauling. Descent, what we're going to do, let's see if we can change up our descent here. I want to descend at 310 knots and 80 Mach. Let's see if it will take this. No, it will not. So it will not let me. What if I put it in pre-select? Only speed entry allowed. Interesting. So I guess I can pre-select 310, but I can't change to a slower Mach. Okay. Approach, we'll worry about this when we get a little bit closer. Go around phase. Secondary is not modeled. I didn't expect it to be. Init page B, I already talked about this. Not accessible on the real aircraft. I want to, well, this is fuel prediction, so this page is. But when I didn't have the CG in there, that was my oopsie on my part. Let's look at the position monitor. Can't do that. What about GPS monitor? Nothing. Nothing. Aircraft status. You can tell my database is way out of date here for this airplane. Here's our engine model, 77 Rolls-Royce. So I mean, it's a basic McDo. Airport page. What? Oh, so that works. So if you press airport, that brings you to the bottom of your flight plan, which it does. That looks good. So overall, I mean, minimal functionality. Pilot Boy says Sully's engines didn't roll back completely, so they most likely had the IDG still working at least one side. Okay, Pilot Boy, that's kind of what I was always wondering about too, and I would make sense if he didn't have a complete rollback on engine 1, that they'd still have the IDGs up and running. But at the very least, it's still good to get that APU running because that guarantees that you're going to have all your flight displays and it'll allow protections in your flight controls and things like that. HD Simulation says the number watching should match the number of likes, guys. Show V1 some love. I appreciate that. Thanks, HD Sim. ND Beacon says, V1, do you fly in VATSIM or any of their FNOs or Friday Night Ops? ND Beacon, or ND, I see your name now, ND Beacon. I love it. I love clever aviation names. You guys are awesome. No, I haven't done it yet, Beacon, but I am getting ready. I swear. I keep telling you guys I'm getting ready to do some VATSIM stuff. I just have been reluctant to set up the Swift client and all that stuff because it's just, to me, it looks complicated, but it is going to happen. Jeremy Harris says, V1 Sim on 1549, engine 2 was still running at idle after the bird strike, and on the left engine, the birds knocked out the nozzles out of the burner cans. Okay, so it is very possible then that they had enough thrust to run the IDG and keep things running. That would keep the rat from deploying. Avex, this is your brain. Yeah, I heard they put so much love in the 7576. It's fine, just sad that 350 in the current state. Yes, I agree. So Killer says you could try to change the approach to different runway and try to see if ILS frequency is from the old runway. Okay, so Killer, we'll try to change the approach when we get down there. Do you mean, Carl says, do you mean the igniters? They don't have burners or spray bars on those engines. It isn't a fighter. It probably just means either the igniters or, let's see. This is really loud for me. But sometimes we refer to that as a can right there. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about or not. F-18 pilot here. That's awesome, man. My my IOE captain when I was typed on the Airbus, he was an F-18 guy. So that was always fun talking to him, picking his brain. 3.2 R2 seems to be a new version. I got 3.2 R1. Yes, so it's on the JAR forum for this version of. You can't barely see it now in this light, but it's R2. So I did get this off the forum. If you guys are in the Discord, I believe it was posted under live stream alerts. It shouldn't have been there, but I don't know if Slam Cannon, if you're watching, maybe you can repost the link somewhere. Somebody can post the link in the add-on discussion for the current version of the JAR. I did have to get this off of the forums. It was not on this on the website. DC or D3CO22 Haveland, how's it going, man? Soul Killer says today I was landing with the JAR 330 and broken right wheel that was only 151 feet per minute. Interesting. All right, so I'm wondering, guys, I haven't done a landing in this newest update, so maybe I'll have a different opinion on the landing physics. Maybe we can even do a go-around or something like that, just hand fly it back around. Because if it's from what it used to be, it just didn't feel right. I don't know how else to explain it other than it didn't feel right. But maybe it's different. I haven't flown this version yet. This is my first flight with this updated version. Full flight, I should say. Be first landing with it, anyway. Pilot Boy says, I really doubt Microsoft 2020 will have flight dynamics close to X-Plane 11.4. I agree, Pilot Boy, and I was saying that, you know, if you watch that Austin Meyer video where he's talking about the new updates and stuff and everything, it blows my mind a little bit. I like what he's going at. So I challenge, you know, any sim to say, you know, that X-Plane isn't the future of flight sim, because he is a super passionate aviation enthusiast, but he's super passionate about math and technology. It's just a perfect combo. I am blown away with his videos. I know some of you guys probably don't enjoy watching the technical videos, but I do see those that he talks about all the physics and the formula that he's using to create different slipstream effects and everything. It's phenomenal. So I firmly believe that X-Plane is going to be the future of flight sim. Now, does that mean I don't want Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 to be even better? No, of course. If it can be better, then that's better for us, right? But until I actually see somebody flying around in that simulator, I'm going to reserve a lot of my thoughts. Merconta says, V1 Sim, what do you think about the Rotate MD-11, which is under development at the moment? I cannot wait for the MD-11. I think it's going to be a phenomenal airplane. Rotate Sim did a phenomenal job with the ND-80. I mean, that thing was phenomenal. Unfortunately, in all the updates and stuff with X-Plane, I'm having some stability issues with its current state, so I've kind of parked the MD-80 for now. But if they come out with that MD-11 and it's the same quality, which I'm sure it will be even better, I'm super excited. I've got a good friend who flies for FedEx, is an MD-11 captain, and I'm probably going to have him over, and we might do some live streams, with him. It'd be kind of cool to see what he thinks of it. But I'm so excited for the MD-11. I think it's going to be great. German Harvey says that V1 Sim, after hearing Sully's interviews and reading his book, I got the impression that he's actually not a fan of the Airbus. I don't know, Harvey, if he is or not. I don't think he's a fan of some of the flight control protections. One of his things was he was saying that he thinks he probably could have made a softer landing. What actually happened was he got down to... oh my gosh, not VLS. He was below VLS. He was at... Man, any 320 drivers are going to kill me. Red line. Basically, he was at maximum. He was at think it was below V alpha prod. He was basically at the maximum allowable angle of attack the aircraft was going to let him fly. And that is the stalling angle of attack of the wing. And past that AOA, the aircraft will stall. And he was saying that he could have softened the impact a little bit if he could have exceeded that. That's to be seen. I don't know. I'd have to really look into it, because you can't exceed some of the limitations, or some of the protections there, or some of the stabilities, I should say. The protections can't be exceeded, but that was kind of his gripe that I took away, is he thought he could soften the landing a little bit more, but his speed was so low, it was at the maximum angle of attack that Airbus would let him go. But in all reality, I mean, I think Airbus kind of saved him, because there was another part of the flight where, when they first started that descent, the flight control computer actually, I think they were actually going to stall it at one point, but it nosed it over for him. I'll have to rewatch the whole animation, the NTSB report, but I don't know. If he doesn't like Airbus, after the Airbus saved your life, or you survived a crash landing with an Airbus, I don't know how you could hate Airbus, right? Siska, how do you get the overlay for the stream? This overlay is straight out of Project Fly, I believe. Some kind of says, I just posted it in the add-on thread. Thank you, sir. Dougal in the house, man. You've been quiet. Or maybe I've just been missing a lot of chat messages. I know we got a lot of guys here tonight, so I'm trying to stay as current as I can with the chat, but I don't want to miss a lot of these messages. So, but Dougal, it's good to have you here, man. He says Austin Meyer is pure entertainment. I agree, Dougal. He's pure entertainment. Bug Eater Simpson in the house. How's it going, Bug Eater? Glad to have you on a live stream, man. I've been checking out a couple of your Huey videos. I actually checked out that one where you were comparing it, or that with the new flight model, an 11.4 beta. And Bug Eater says, I found out that VRS is alive and well in the latest beta build of X-Plane 11. I saw that. That's awesome, Bug Eater. Good to have you here, man. Glad to have you here on a live stream. And thanks for your videos on that, Huey. Lux Preston Videography says, when are you going to do a tutorial about the FMC? Well, what kind of tutorial do you want? Are you talking about like in this airplane? Or just in Airbus in general? I've got two or three videos out right now for the MCDU, guys, on my, it's the MCDU Advanced Tips and Tricks series on my YouTube page, and I do a couple things in the MCDU. But here's my problem, and I'm not even going to attempt to do it in the JAR because this is very lightly simulated. But even our most detailed MCDU on the flight factor, it's still missing some very key features that I would like to see, such as the fixed info page, some offsetting stuff. So I'm still waiting for that. Tolis is working on a 1.4 version where they overhaul their MCDU. So I'm very curious as to where their MCDU will fall in the line of the Airbus MCDUs out there when their 1.4 comes out. So. Alright, let's hop outside real quick. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'll turn down the volume just a minute. I mean, that 3D modeling, though, is pretty phenomenal. I love that old US Airways livery, too. Alright, Razgriz792. Are pilots generally happy to let passengers on the flight deck before and after the flight? Went up to the cockpit of a 320 recently, and it was so superb, but the pilots seemed annoyed. Razgriz, it kind of depends. You know, everybody's hit or miss, right? But generally speaking, no, we're excited to have you guys up there. I know I am, especially when, you know, when I'm up front, and especially if there's a delay or something. I love having people come up front to the cockpit and hang out and take a look at things. So, but I mean, who knows? You know, that flight crew could have been having a really long day. They could have been reassigned. You don't know what their story was, so it could have been an issue for them. But generally speaking, I say, hey man, go up to the front, ask if you can have a look around. Most guys that I know would be more than happy to have you up front. Hellmax says V1 Sim, Flight Factor 320 or Tolis A319. Hellmax, right now, Fifth Freedom, I hope you're still watching this. But yeah, Hellmax is Flight Factor 320 or Tolis A319. Right now, straight up, short answer, Hellmax, Flight Factor. And that's because of the BSS sound pack. Now, you give me the BSS sound pack on the Tolis A319, it's going to be very hard to fly the Flight Factor over the Tolis. But I still have to do an in-depth review when that happens. Now, when Tolis comes out with version 1.4 of their MCDU, and they have the BSS sound pack, I don't see how I would fly another Airbus. But as we are right now, today, the Flight Factor, I think, slightly edges out the Tolis. And that's mostly in part due to the BSS sound pack. Dugos has been here all stream. Awesome, man. Carl Childress V1 Sim, I don't think he hates Airbus at all. He just, as you say, doesn't like some aspects of the flight control protections. Yeah, exactly. Doug Eater says, most excellent, enjoying your stream. Thank you, sir. Pilot Boy, I do believe the Airbus saved the day. The 737 probably would have stalled. I'm not even going to get into talking about 737s today. Soul Killer says Tolis promised 1.4 fix and secondary flight plan. Yes, Soul Killer, that's what I'm excited for. If they, because right now it's really weird, guys. When you want to talk about, you know, Tolis versus or 319 versus 320, they do different things better than the other airplane does. For instance, the performance data or performance aspect of the Tolis 319 is spot on. I don't know, I have a video on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's the Tolis 319 Performance Test V2. And I run real data and real numbers, and it's almost exactly to the real airplane. So you can't argue with the performance aspect in the sim with the Tolis. With the flight factor, they were originally overpowered. Unfortunately, I didn't collect any 320 aircraft data before I went on leave. So I haven't, you guys, I said I was going to do a 320 takeoff performance test, V2, but I haven't been able to do that yet because I've been on leave and I haven't actually been in a 320 aircraft to get the performance data for you. So I'd go back to work next Tuesday. If I'm in a 320, I'm going to collect all that performance data for you guys, and then we're going to do a 320 flight factor performance test V2. So, but you got that aspect, and then, you know, but the flight factor's MCDU or McDo box is at this point superior to the Tolis MCDU. So, okay, so there's a trade-off. Do you want the realistic flight performance and subpar MCDU, or do you want the advanced MCDU with possibly overpowering performance? But then you add in the sounds, which for some people it's not a huge deal, which I get. But to me personally, sounds are a huge aspect to flight simulation. And if I'm in the 320 with that BSS sound pack, I swear to you, I say it all the time, I feel like I'm actually in the airplane. Now, there's some sounds here and there that bother me that aren't necessarily accurate, but for immersion purposes, it blows me away. Every time I start the engines in that Flight Factor 320 with the BSS pack, I'm blown away. So you add that on there, then now where do you go? Would you like Tolis or do you like Flight Factor? It's just, they do different things better, but the way things have been progressing with Tolis and their support for them and the way they've been updating the aircraft, I think Tolis will be a clear winner towards the end. I know I said I was going to have a short answer on that, and I just went into details, so anyway. The D-Nick says, would you say this A330 is usable for the average simmer who doesn't need the crazy in-depth stuff like failures, just get up, launch, and things go the way they're supposed to? The D-Nick, absolutely. If you're looking for a lighter simulation aircraft, specifically a long-haul airplane, this is where this airplane will shine for you. And It comes with the ground handling for free. So if you don't have ground handling, you get that, which is kind of cool to see that at the gate. It comes with not so good sounds. So if sounds are a big deal to you, then you're going to have to spend the extra 10 or 15 US anyway to get the BSS sound pack. But don't expect study level simulation. And if you're okay with that, if you just want a light aircraft to take you across the pond long haul, then do it. I mean, guys, I enjoy flying this airplane. I have fun flying it. I don't get in this airplane to practice anything Airbus. I don't get in this airplane to do real procedures. I get in it because I want a relaxing flight and I want an eye candy flight. You know, sometimes you get on flight sim and you just want things to look good. You want to spend most of the time outside in the external view or in the flyby view like we're going to do right now. Watch your ears. So if you're spending most of your flight in views like this, you know, or in the external view, I mean, the external view, the texturing on the wing, the two-tone there, just... I've said it a dozen times. It's amazing. So if that's what you're after, by all means, man, you're going to be very happy with this airplane. But don't come to this airplane expecting to learn Airbus very much. LA Expression Videography says, are you currently flying for the airlanes? Yes, I am. Flight Sim for Life 23, when will you be landing? Let's take a look at that. We are getting ready to start down, so we're actually 223 miles from our destination, so we need to start planning our descent. So let's take a look at this here. Let's get our box set up here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, so if you guys want to see some FMS stuff or MCDU stuff, this is what will be good for you. All right, so we're going to plan on the 3-1 left approach. I have the ILS 3-1 left. Let's come to 3-1 left. Here's our ILS 3-1 left. Can I get a updated ATIS? I can't. I wonder why I can't get the METAR update. Do any of you guys know why I can't get METAR update in the JAR? Normally if you press this right here, it updates it for you. But anyway, here we go. We are coming down the Lendy 6 arrival. Did I download the Lendy 6? I may not have downloaded the arrival. Doesn't appear that I did. Dang it. Alright, well, good thing we don't have ATC. But we're planning on 3-1 left. And let's look at our fixes here. LaGuardia, Lendy, LaGuardia. Then we have a discontinuity. And then we're going to Zach's intersection, which is right here. Zach's, Niels, runway 3-1 left, which is Zach's, Niels is our final approach fix at 1,800 feet. It shows 1,800 here. The magenta star means that we have an altitude restraint or speed restraint here, which it is there. Then we have our missed approach procedure, which is out to Chant. And off. All right, so I don't know why I can. So in this MCDU, I can scroll all the way through back to the top. That's not accurate. The real Airbus will stop you at the bottom, and then you can't scroll down through it anymore. But so just pointing that out. All right, so our flight plan is set up there. Our NavRad, I'm going to hard tune JFK. We're going to leave that set there. Our progress page, unfortunately, is not simulated properly. I should be able to put in John F. Kennedy Airport right here. I cannot do that. So unfortunately, I can't do that. Our performance data, let's look at our approach. So we need to pull up the weather for John F. Kennedy, which we'll do by going here. Oops, we'll be going here. KJFK. We have wind 040 at 12, so we'll definitely be landing to the north. And what we'll do is we'll do a runway change. We'll land on, 040 at 12. I should put that in the wind column. We're going to switch the runways in the box, and we're going to see how the JAR handles that. 040 at 12, temperature is 25. QNH is 3007. All right. Now our MDA, I'm not going to set it because I'm actually going to do an intentional runway change here. So let's see how it handles. So I'm going to go JFK, arrival. We're going to plan on landing, I believe, what is it, 4? I believe runway 4. Let's see if we can land on runway 4 for Kennedy. We're going to land on 4 left since the winds are straight out of northeast-ish, which is runway 4. So I'm going to set up ILS. Is there even an ILS to 4? There is a GPS to 4. There's no ILS to 4. Should we land with a crosswind or should we land...
Schoolville County.
Oh,
Joe Survey.
we don't need that on here. Let's go ahead and turn that ATIS off.
Visibility more than 10.
What?
Sky conditions 1,400 few. 4,700.
Thanks for the subscribe there, Black Libertarian. Appreciate it.
Temperature
Okay,
22,
why do I have an ATIS on
3.17.
here?
Altimeter 3010.
Changing all the frequencies, so that can't possibly be on there. Okay. Got the ATIS away. Alright guys, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a crosswind landing? Or should we do a GPS landing? Do I even have a chart for 4 left? I don't even know if I do. So there is an ILS to 4 left. I guess it's not in the box. Then that's probably because the air rack is way out of date. So I can't select ILS 4 right. But we definitely don't want to land on 4 right. Oh, yes, we do. 8,400 feet? No, I'll pass. I'm sorry, guys. I'm blind. There we go. ILS 4 left. And we're going to just go back to flight plan. Oh, wow. So it will delete your star? Hold on. Erase that. So this box is definitely acting funky. So all the way to LaGuardia, and then it breaks off after LaGuardia. So now I should be able to go here. What? But it already inserted 4 left, even though I hit erase. So there you go. There's your bugs, guys. All I did was come here. I went arrival, and let me just try it again. I'm going to hit VOR 13, and I'm going to go back to flight plan and do erase. And check it out. It changes the runway anyway. So, for that purpose, we're just going to set up for the ILS to 4 left. And does it want me to put the whole star in there? Let's do Lendy 6, no trans.
We are close
Insert.
to top of descent, sir.
We are close to top of descent, sir. Thank you very much. We're going to bottom out. Let's see, we're going to set Lendy at 190. And then all the way down LaGuardia. Okay, so we've got that set. Our perf data for 4 left now. This is 4 left, correct. Straight in ILS is going to be 223. Put that in the MDA. Boom. Done. Landing flaps full. VAP is 137 knots. So we want to set 10,000 feet here. And let's see where we are. We're just close. We'll start about 5 miles prior. Actually, no, we want to set 190. Or set 190. Let's go plan mode and make sure everything looks good one more time before we start down. Man, I don't like these screen manipulators. Alright, flight plan. There's Geno, Hardy, Lendy, LaGuardia. Alright, so it's all in there. Arc mode, zoom it out. We're approaching top of descent. Let's go ahead and push. Rust idle, descent. Here we go. Look at that. Descent. Holy crap. 6,500 feet per minute? 7,000 feet per minute? Thrust idle descent. Overspeed.
More drag, sir.
Whoa. Whoa, JAR. Okay. I have control. Look, well, the overspeed protections work. You see how it... I don't know why I'm getting jip whiz. Whoa. Whoa, JAR. I want to go... Why can't I push it? There we go. Open descent. Autopilot. What is going on here? There you go for bugs. Alright, so it did not want to do a VNAV descent. That is noted. No VNAV descent. But hey, you got to see the overspeed protection. That was accurate. The aircraft was overspeeding. It kicked off the autopilot and it pitched up to a higher pitch attitude, so the aircraft would not exceed the overspeed condition. And it worked out. Now, for some reason, I don't know why it was doing a 7,000 foot per minute descent rate, but hey, JAR Design. Okay. Crisis averted. The airplane is still in one piece. Yes, it is. She looks beautiful. Here's another flyby. Man, that was fun. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, Carl Childers says back in the old days, Arnav used a Suedo station when you input a specific radar DME. Oh, you're talking old school. So killer, that's JAR descending 7,000 feet per minute. I know. That was nuts. But hey, we are alive, and look at this. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to learn Airbus, this is not the airplane to do it in. Here's our top of descent arrow. We're clearly past that. Now, in the real Airbus, I've never seen it get this bad, but if you need to recycle your top of descent, what we can do is do a new direct. So I'm going to try that here. I'm going to pull up direct, and I can't even go direct to that fix. So I should be able to go direct LVZ, but I can't do that. So let's go direct Geno, and let's hold on, because I bet this is going to mess up everything here. Direct to insert. Alright, it still did not reset the top of descent. It still says we're higher than a van full of hippies, but I don't think we are. We're at 29.4, descending across Geno at LO 230. The box is telling us that we're going to cross Geno at 23. So, according to this, everything is okay. Let's see what happens. Slim Kenneth says, well, that answers my VNAV questions. Yeah, and here we go again. It's already getting a little bit more interesting. Alright, let's focus. LS push buttons on. We are landing flap full. We don't need anything else. What does this checklist say to do over here? Still in the after takeoff checklist? Well, we don't need that. Can I go next? How do I go next? I can't change it? Well, that kind of sucks. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a special trick to go to the descent. But hey, I've got my own descent check. Let's do it. Descent checklist. Briefing is complete. ECAM status is checked with the sun glaring through the airplane. Auto brakes. Let's try low brakes. And we have our seatbelts. We should probably turn them on because I don't trust this anymore. So seatbelts on. Everybody sit down if you're probably already in the ceiling. Broke a couple dishes for sure. Minimums are set. They are not displayed on the PFD here. We're below 250 miles. We should have our minimums displayed right here, which they're not displayed. But they are in the box. We verified it here. Perf. Next phase, 223. So our minimums are set. They're just incorrectly not displayed. We're going to miss gens, it looks like, even though the box said we were going to make it. So let's go ahead and go a little bit of speed brake, help it out. Alright, altimeters. That's the last thing to set, and we should be good to go. Altimeter was 3007. So 3007. How do I push this in? There we go, right click. Weird. It's flashing at me speed brake. Maybe that's a 330 thing, I don't know. Let's go ahead and disarm them. We are getting close. Alright. Everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and take a look out here. Let's come to this. Let's get a better view for y'all. Actually, maybe this side with the sun. Let's move it forward. Let's get a good descent view. These engines, I feel like I'm talking a lot of smack to JAR, but I still love the external modeling. That looks pretty good right there. Slam Cannon says, I have a feeling this aircraft would frustrate me greatly. It's very possible, Slam Cannon. Soul Killer says, just make sure the ILS frequency in RadNav is for 4 left and not 3-1 left. I'll make sure of that, Soul Killer, when we get down there. We'll verify. Oh, he also says you can't change the papers, the checklist. They change automatically. The plane will recognize the next step. Okay. Agree. Fifth Room says, dude, I'll have my fair share of C-130 wood. Right in the back of a C-130, man. I think C-130s are pretty sweet, though, from the pilot's perspective. HD Sim says, this is why I'm not going to fly the JAR until these issues are fixed. I agree with you. Hellmax V1 Sim, what would you say I should buy? Flight Factor 320 or the Tolus? Hellmax, I answered that a little bit. I'll try to answer it again. Depends what you want. If you want to have a MCDU that is more simulated, and you want to spend the money on a BSS sound pack so you have the most accurate sounds in the market, then you should go with the Flight Factor. But if you want an aircraft that has decent sounds and the MCDU is slightly underdeveloped, but it is in development for its next update, but at its current point it's a little bit underdeveloped, but the performance of the aircraft handles phenomenally, then go with the Tolus. So either way, you can't go wrong. You'll be happy with either one. I'll just say that. You'll be happy with either one. But what are you trying to get out of it? Okay, the engines are spooling up to extremely high power settings here. 19,000. Speed out. The altitude horn goes off as we reach 19,000. That's interesting. Alright, we're in speed out, hold mode. We're going to cross Lendy, 19 at 250. Alright, so it'll be interesting to see if the aircraft will slow to 250 knots, because if you look here, I believe this is a deceleration point, and it should be over here. So when we fly into the deceleration point, the aircraft will slow to 250 knots to meet Lendy. Right now, the deceleration point is kind of off in space, so I'm unsure what's going to happen here, but hey, this is a live stream. Let's see what happens. I'll go ahead and turn on some integral lighting here. The internal lighting is really nice, actually. I'll tell you what, like I said, this is an eye candy airplane. If you want eye candy stuff, this is a good plane to fly. Pablo LR says, I want to start the flight sim, but I don't know how to acquire knowledge. Any advice or recommendations on how to proceed? Well, Pablo, if you're looking for a flight simulator, I highly recommend X-Plane. And if you want to know any tutorials on how to set up X-Plane, do a little YouTube search for Q8 Pilot on YouTube. He's got some of the most phenomenal tutorial videos out there. And he shows you what add-ons and plugins you need for free that'll make your game look, or your sim look really good. And he does a phenomenal job at explaining everything. So do a little YouTube search for Q8 Pilot and just browse through some of his content for X-Plane. And if you want to know how to acquire knowledge for the Airbus specifically, on my channel I have an entire series on the Airbus from gate to gate, exactly what you need to do. And you can follow along. I think it's a four or five part video series. And you can just do the same things I did. until you get a handle of it, and then you should be pretty good to go. Carl Chill says, mad respect, I couldn't bring myself to accept probation pay and the schedule headaches, pains that go with it, otherwise I'd be flying a line. I hear you, brother. B5 says, I work for JAR Design. I would be very embarrassed selling this unfinished airplane for $70. You heard it from the horse's mouth. There you go. Thank you for your honest comments, my God. JJ, hey Cap, how you doing? I'm doing just fine, JJ. How you doing? Glad to have you here. Daniel Smith's still here. Nice. Black Libertarian says, is the A320 that more comfortable than the 737? From a pilot, I think so, absolutely. Even from a jump seat. If you sit in a 737 jump seat, it's pretty tight. In the 320 cockpit, it's much larger than the 737. And from a passenger point of view, in economy, the Airbus is actually a little bit wider. All right, we got to pay attention here because I don't know what's going to happen. We should be at 250 knots here, but apparently we're not slowing down. Let's just see. We're not doing any professional instruction here. Let's just see if this will completely violate the 250 knot restriction. It's in the box. We're at managed speed. The aircraft should slow down to 250 before landing. We'll see what happens. I hear the thrust coming back. Maybe. Man, we've got a 34 knot tailwind. We're cooking coming in here. Dougal says the 230 is an awesome bird. I can do so much more than most know. I believe it, Dougal. I believe it. The D-Nick, I'd also consider Tolis is redoing the McDo, and that has more potential at the moment. I agree with you, D-Nick. I think the potential for the Tolis 319 is 100% there to be the best Airbus on the market, period. I firmly believe that. Soul Killer says, let's see if V1 Sim will get lost in jar bugs during landing. I accept that challenge, Soul Killer. Jeremy Harvey says, V1 Sim, are you tired of the Biscoff cookies yet? Every U.S. airline seems to have them. Hey man, I haven't been flying in about 8 weeks, so I actually kind of miss myself some Biscoffs. It's funny, my wife loves those cookies, and the last flight I did, we actually had a tarmac delay, so we opened up the tarmac delay kit, and in there was like the bulk pack of Biscoff cookies, and I brought that home, and she was really excited about it. So, but well, look at that, it's slowing down a little bit. So we're totally going to miss that restriction though. So here's Lendy. We're pretty much over Lendy, and we're 50 knots fast, so ATC would not be very happy with that. Let's go ahead and get some speed brakes out. It's flashing at me for speed brake. I don't know if that's an Airbus thing. You should be at thrust idle right now. Alright, I'm not going to try to be too critical. I'm going to self-vector myself for this ILS approach. So we are going to join the approach at a Roki, and I know damn well that I can't extend the line off this airplane, so we're just going to have to manually do it. I'm going to fly to LaGuardia, then we're going to make a right turn. We're going to cross a Roki at 2,000. There's 250. Let's go ahead and set... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Easy now. Easy, JAR. Let's go ahead and set 10,000 feet. Thank you. Thrust idle. I have the speed brakes out because I want to go down. I don't know why you're barking at me. That could be a 330 thing, but I highly doubt it because the thrust is at idle. I'm in open descent. I'm using the speed brakes to get maximum descent. It could be a 330 thing. I think it's a JAR thing. Christopher Levin says, at V1 Sim, have you ever thought about rating for the long distance Airbus? Might be hard with family and stuff though. That's the thing, Christopher Levin, is I'm extremely happy with where I'm at now because my quality of life is so good on the narrow body that I'm not looking for a change at this point. Now, who knows, maybe at some point in my life that will change, but I'm happy right now. Let's go ahead and turn terrain on ND. Does this thing have weather radar? Let's see, let's turn that on. Let's turn terrain mode off. Off. I don't think there's anything to paint out there. Alright, here comes LaGuardia. And what's it going to do? I'm just going to see what happens, and then I'll fix it. So apparently we're in a right turn. Will this thing blow up if it flies into a discon? We're at 15.6, descending 10,000. This is bothering me, so I'm just going to retract the spoilers.
Spoilers retracted.
They're actually speed brakes, so I don't like it says spoilers. I mean, it's labeled 3 spots, like speed brake, speed brake, speed brake. Alright, so it's kind of just in this right-hand turn by itself. Let's manually select a heading of 230, descend and maintain 3,000, open descent. Things are looking up. Here comes a flyby. Now that's beautiful, though. Come on. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty dark when we get below these clouds. Well, I'm sure glad I installed a bunch of ortho scenery on the East Coast. Black Libertarian says, a V1 sim, do you recommend going to 141 colleges? I will be applying to colleges next year. It depends on which colleges, Black Libertarian. I will say this, I said it in my last stream. Embry-Riddle is an extremely expensive way to get your ratings. And they are 141 schools. There are much more financial, there are many more schools that are easier on the finances than going to Embry-Riddle. I did my private pilot license at Embry-Riddle back in the day, and that cost me more than getting my instrument, my commercial, and my commercial rating from a Part 61 school. So that should tell you something. That's beautiful, though. Look at the sun coming in here as we go below these clouds, reflecting off the wing. Thank you for the subscribe there. Appreciate it. Slam Cannon says V1. Every time you say something, I don't know if it's a 330 thing. Remember, always just a JAR thing. Okay, I'll start saying I don't know if that's just a JAR thing. But you can't argue with this view right here. I love it. The slats out? No. Thought the slats were out. Alright, let's we are so high. Oh my goodness. We're going max spoilers. 10, let's set 2,000. We're out of 10,000 feet. Let's get some lights on here. Oh, that looks good right there. I love the wing light onto the engine nacelle, onto the leading edge of the wing. Love it. Thank you for subscribing, Atlanta 757 Flyer. You must like flying Delta Airlines if you're flying a 75 out of Atlanta. Semkin says fly into a disco in the JAR 330 and you're in Deep Space Nine before you know it. Yeah. I don't know what was going to happen there, but it was interesting. I don't know what's going to happen on this approach because we are... Hopefully it won't recycle my waypoint out there, Oroki. 8.5... We're 9 miles, I believe, from Oroki. What we're going to do is we're going to vector ourselves back across the localizer. So I'm going to come left. We're going to go to the east side of the loc, and then we're going to come right back around and join it from the east side. Get enough altitude. Alright, so we're complete IMC right now. The outside air temp is 17C, so we are looking good. All the displays are on bright. According to JAR, if we proceed to Oroki now, we might actually be okay. So let's see if it can handle a direct to Oroki. Insert. And nothing. Okay. Do you want me to press this? Yes, you do. Now we're in nav mode. Okay, that's a JAR thing. We're in a left turn now, nav mode. I believe this means that it's going to intercept a direct 2 course to Oroki. 5.7 descending 2,000. We can actually go ahead and make that 3,000. We're already below the slope. 10 miles from Oroki. We don't need the speed brakes anymore. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers. Actually, let's do this proper. We're going to go ahead and disarm. So if you're new to this channel and you want to see some, you know, like professional procedures, in the next couple of days here, I'm going to be flying the Flight Factory and the Tolus, and it's going to be for it's going to be for you guys too, but for me, I got to get back into the correct procedures for everything in the Airbus, because I go back to work on Tuesday, and I'm going to use this sim as a tool to kind of refresh my memory. You know, it's been 8 weeks, so this is another thing I hate here. I can't redirect myself to Oroki now, because I've already went direct once, and it just deletes it off the flight plan. That's inaccurate, 100%. So now we're doing a 360-degree turn to intercept something else that's not correct. So let's just manually come back to the right here. Come on, you can do it, baby. Talk to me, JAR. 060. So in the next couple streams are going to be a little bit more serious, and I'm really going to be trying to go by the book. And if you guys are into that and want to see that, definitely want to tune in for those, because I'm going to use the X-Plane as a tool to get myself back into a current state before it actually get back on the line. Some candidate externals are pretty nice, gotta admit it. I agree. Alright, hold our breath here. I'm going to arm the approach button. Oh boy, what are you doing? I got an idea. Let's try this. Activate, confirm the approach phase. Alright, and we're slowing down. I don't trust it, so I'm going to manually select down, 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 down. 180 knots. Approach mode is armed. Low blue, glide slope blue. Why did we stop descending? Why did we stop descending? You can't tell me we're simulating icing conditions at 23C. Don't tell me that, or I'm just going to Alt F4 right now. We're clearly descending. There's the runway. Goodness. It's acting as if we're iced up. Alright, let's go flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Localizer is apparently captured. And we're turning. That's good. Thank you for the subscribe there, Smitty. Good to have you here. Glad you're enjoying the content. There's beautiful JFK. 4 left.
Flaps 2.
VFE next minus 10, flaps 2. We're high on glide slope, and she's not descending. She's actually climbing. What is going on? Okay. Manual control. I can't disengage the autopilot from there. No, 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 no. Manual control. I've got the airplane. Gear down.
Gear down.
Spoilers armed.
Spoilers armed.
I don't know what she's doing. Flight director's off. Give me the bird. VFE next minus 10, flaps 3. The Airbus does not go from 700, 800 feet per minute to climb when you go flaps 3. I can promise you that. We may have to do a go-around, which would be good for me, but at this point, I'm a little scared to do a go-around in this airplane, because I don't know what will happen if I push the throttles up to Toga. We need to get back on the slope. Go-around altitude set is 3,000 blue. VFE next minus 10, flaps full. We're supposed to be crossing Crystal at 1,500. We are going to be really high. I'm curious, can I add speed
Spoilers
brakes
full.
with full flaps? Thanks for the donation there, Philip. $10. Thanks for saving me the purchase price of this bus. Oh, thanks for the support, man.
Spoilers
Appreciate it.
retracted. Spoilers armed.
Spoilers armed. Thank you for that, Philip. Really appreciate it, man. Okay, now we're below the glide slope. Let's get back on it. Jesus, what are we landing in? The 300 overcast? Alright, we're back on it. Back on the slope. The speed is coming back. I have full control. No auto thrust. No autopilot. I have to turn the wing anti-ice on and the pitot heats on at 25 degrees Celsius. Because apparently that's icing conditions for this 330. Hey, there's the runway. Alright. I've got control. Let's get a little bit of power back in there. Let's get a little bit of power back in there. Oh, Nelly. Alright. I'm going to be ignoring the chat here for a minute, guys. Apologize. We've got one white, or three whites, one red. So a little bit high. Let's get it back on. I'm just going to take this down visually because the airplane is a little bit not trustworthy right now. 10 knot crosswind out of the right hand side, and I feel like I'm in a 172. Must be a JAR thing. Alright, two whites, two reds. We're on the slope. Speed 140. This displaced threshold is pretty large. We're actually going to go medium brakes.
500.
Super just got high again. So it's almost like I have to
400.
press nose down at ref speed to descend in this airplane.
300 above.
Is that a displaced threshold? Holy smokes. I didn't
200.
realize it was such a long... It's not, it's just poor lighting. Okay, so we got plenty of runway. I didn't think there was a displaced
100.
threshold.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Anytime now.
South. Spoilers full. Reverse green.
Reverse green. Reverse. Get on the center line. I think this is the X-plane thing with the crosswinds. 70 knots.
70 knots.
Auto brakes disengage.
Reverse green.
Stow the buckets. What do we got there? We're a little bit high over the threshold. 139 feet per minute. 9 feet off center line. I'll take it for a JAR. Alright, let's get out of this airplane here. We're down. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, guys. I want to go left here. At ref speed, I have to put the aircraft
Spoilers armed.
in
Spoilers
a pitch
disarmed.
down, like
Flaps 3.
below
Flaps
the horizon.
1.
I'm
Flaps 0.
consciously putting nose down stick input to descend, which shouldn't happen. And also what's happening is the trim. I shouldn't have to trim this airplane like a conventional airplane. It should be auto trimming for ref. So I probably could solve that pitch down with some trim, but I shouldn't have to do that in an Airbus. Alberto Godilo coming in with the donation, $5 bomb. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I can't, no message on that one though, but I appreciate your support. Let's go ahead and park this thing and watch the replay. Let's go ahead and get the turn off lights off, landing lights off.
If everything is okay with the lights.
Alright, wing lights come on, the strobe lights come off. APU is spooling up. Let's see. We've got 330 over there. No, that's a 320. Where do we want to go? We're going to go right here. I don't know if this gate can handle a 330 since I'm parking next to a CRJ, but we're going to try it. Hey, A330. Super chat, Carl Childers, $25 bomb. Thank you, sir. Says good stuff. Skipper, great stream. Look forward to see many more. Awesome, man. Thank you for the support. Thanks for that donation. Glad to have you here. Look forward to chatting with you again. Don't mind my 70% N1 to get the airplane to move forward. And stop. Brake set.
Brake on.
Whew. All right, we got APU power. We survived, guys. Engines are coming down. Hey, the engine spool down sound is nice, though. Whew. All right. Jetway's coming over. Let's attempt to look at a replay. I don't know if this will crash my sim. I haven't done any replays with 330 yet, so I'm going to disable real view as that's a known crasher of replays. And let's give this a shot, guys. And then I'm going to look at some of the chat messages. I apologize for... I got really saturated there at the end trying not to die. So I know I missed a lot of chat messages.
Flaps 1. Flaps full.
But we're getting back into it here. Alright. Where are we? This is 1,500 feet. Let's skip forward a little bit.
Speed. Speed. Speed.
Okay, we'll play it from there. Let's watch it from the wing view. Alright. We'll watch it from inside for a little bit, then we'll go outside. We'll catch up with some of these chat messages here. Whew. Mateo Puzzle says it would have been great to see you shoot the visual 1-3 right or left. Mateo, I would, I don't know if I want to do a visual 1-3 in the JAR 330 at night just yet. But as usual, lots of fun. Thank you, So Killer. Danny Whitling says JAR isn't boring. You can say that. Totally agree. It's not boring. It'll keep you on your toes. Theory Jabray says JAR code, even explained development, couldn't understand what they are doing. Melito says, I don't mind the A330, it's just a bit sloppy. That is to put it gently. That is correct. It is a bit sloppy. But as you can see, I mean, if you manage it, if you just manage it yourself, it's fine. So
400.
Captain Gio says, now when do we get to do a repo V1? Well, hey, repo contracts are coming up after this stream, so all my repo pilots, be on the lookout.
200.
Andre Henry says, now imagine going through this after a long flight from Miami to GIG. Last time I flew this thing. I agree, man. Gotta love XP90, I agree.
40, 30.
Here she comes.
20.
And there's 10, the float. So it's
5,
weird, guys. Like, it's... I mean, it wasn't the greasiest of landings, but I don't know. Something is off. All right, let's back it up. Let's watch it from another view real quick from
10,
right here.
20, 30, 50.
Let's watch it from this side. Right here by the... Let's watch it from the wing. What's that?
40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Touchdown, baby. Very nice. Okay, we can't turn the lights on in here, can we? Oh, we can. Oh, right, there we go. That's what we're supposed to be looking at. Let's watch it from, let's watch it from right here.
5.
Flower petals open up. So Killer says, will you break a wheel like I did? I don't think I did. Alright, let's back it up. Let's check it out from outside.
10, 20,
check it out from
30,
the runway.
50, 100.
Speed. Speed.
Alright, so there she is. Here's the flyover runway view. Let's check this out.
50, 40, 30,
Here we go. Let's analyze this.
20, 10, 5,
I mean, that looked pretty greasy. Nose wheel right down on the center line, and then we're into that X-plane crosswind ground handling problem. But that's just an X-plane problem.
10,
This with
20,
every
30,
aircraft.
50, 100 above,
Speed.
200.
All right, guys, a couple more of these, and let's watch it from the tower, and then I'm going to be getting out of here. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you have made up your mind about the JAR. If you were interested in it, if you want to buy it, great. If I saved you some money, great too. But it is our only Airbus wide body that we have right now.
100,
So
100 above,
if you're on the fence about it, I hope this stream helped you out
50,
in deciding on what
40,
you want to do.
30,
And
20,
yeah, I hope y'all have a blessed day wherever you
10,
are. And I'm going to catch
5.
you guys on the next one. So y'all take care now.
Ten, 20, 30, 50, 100 above,
Speed.
200, 100, 100 above, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 10, 20, 10, 5,
Flaps 3, flaps 1, flaps 0.